Fantasy IV Free Enterprise fans, and welcome to RPG Limit Break. We have another Highway to the Zemus-Zone League match going on for you now, about to start. We've got neerrm, chocosura, Demerine, and MrUbiq, and myself, ovokjam, and Rex on commentary. How you doing, Rex?
I'm doing well. Looking forward to a good match. We got Sid as the starting character for this race, a very good character for the early game, paired up with, looks like, Rosa. So we've got a good fast start, especially considering the magma key comes in. We are deep into the Highway to the Zemus-Zone League at this point. neerrm has one more race after this, but it's the final race for the other three runners, and they are all on the bubble right now. So this is a very important race in the league.
This is very important. And like you said, neerrm has the 2 races left. Everyone else only has 1. And for chocosura, Demerine, and MrUbiq, this really is the last chance for them to get into the playoffs.
Right, yeah. It doesn't look like they're going to be in the clear race, but like even with a win, they're probably not going to. It doesn't look like they're going to be able to make it so that they're in, but they have a chance of making it to the play-in race, depending on the outcome of other things.
Of course, and it all depends on how other people do as well. But most of them, if they get a win in this race, all of them, chocosura, Demerine, and MrUbiq, pretty good chance of being in at least one of the play-ins. But it is do or die at this point. I mean, they have to win here. First or second, maybe second place would get them in, but all of them are going to be vying for first.
Yeah, this is a we want to win race, with the possible exception of neerrm. I mean, I don't think neerrm is going to want to not win, but I think the other 3 need that first place.
Of course, and neerrm can get away with doing another second. neerrm's first 2 matches were both second places, so
yeah, a pretty good finishes so far for neerrm, and has one more race for leeway afterwards as well. So let's see, Choco making use of that magma key, heading straight to the underworld and straight to the land of summoned monsters. Going to be checking out that key item chest and possibly taking a peek at what the bosses are down there as well.
Yeah, and this is about as early as you're ever going to see anyone dip into underground.
Yeah, well, if you get started off with that magma key, then it just opens up a lot more routing. And there was another race that I was doing commentary on last night that Demerine was in as well, and we got a very early magma key in that as well, and it just opens up so many different opportunities, different places for the runners to go to try to find those key items to get to go mode. It really makes for an exciting race.
Yeah, and we've also found life potions in Baron, which is a good find. There's something else good in Baron, but I've already forgotten it. But we have Star Veils and Agart.
Yeah, those Star Veils are very useful, especially early in the game against certain key bosses. Like if you're forced to go up against Galbaz early, having Star Veils really helps. Oh, it looks like that was the Baron key in the key item chest in the Land of Summoned Monsters. That opens up some more possibilities. Remember, with the K2 flag that we've got in the league races, all the summon monster spots are potentials for key items. So that Baron key does open up the Odin fight as well as the traditional Baron fights.
That's right. And this early, it's also another character, although I'd imagine they'd do Baron in first. And of course, Hobbs, as we can see that Demerine is doing.
Yeah, looks like trying to get. Looks like that is that Palom joining the party there. Found some Gaia drums, which is going to make that lunar fight a lot easier.
I did notice that we did have chocosura and neerrm both visited Yang. Don't have the pan to hit him on the head yet, but that'll still open up Sheila. Oh, that's not a good fight for you to get into neerrm.
Yeah, and it's one of these things where opening up more key items earlier, like there's the threat of possible double dipping in Sylph that sometimes people like to avoid. But in the case like this, where you've got the underground access so fast, just having options of which key items that are available to you becomes a lot more important.
It's not a bad play to go down into the underworld and just check out these 2 key item spots, see what you're kind of dealing with. If you know that there's, for instance, a mist dragon in one of the boss spots, you'll definitely want to prioritize that once you have the ability to get through it.
Absolutely.
But now we're going to probably go back to some more normal routing, which is to search around the overworld, find some of the easier boss spots, form your party, and knock out a few of these key items.
Yeah, that's what we're seeing from like Demerine here, who's going right into Antlion. Pretty standard early play. There's a lot of chests in here, so you get a lot of equipment or money out of those chests. Relatively easy boss and a possible key item, so not an unusual play early in the game.
Speaking of unusual plays, though, only Demerine has gone back to the overworld. What's everyone else doing?
I don't know if Demerine's even gone to the underworld yet.
Well,
But
if you...
chocosura is checking out some shops, had gone from Tomra and now is checking out the shops in the Dwarf Castle.
We do see Valvalis over in Antlion. That's a pretty good spot to see Valvalis, although you never want to see Valvalis without Kain.
Yeah, Valvalis is one of these tricky bosses that sometimes the evasion in the tornado mode is too much to overcome. In this spot, it should be okay, but hitting Sid with that weak is pretty unlucky. Demerine's still able to take down the Air Fiend without too much trouble, though.
Gets a Luca key for it, which is okay. Probably not okay, actually. Probably not what you want to see.
Not what you want to see. Probably won't be cashing that in until has a way to cast Exit. Now, MrUbiq is also heading to the Dwarf Castle, going to do some shopping and looting. There's a bunch of treasure chests available in the Dwarf Castle, so lots of items there. You see Choco picking up an elixir, a very nice item to find.
And there was a question in chat earlier about if on T3, which is our league, the round of 32 flags, if the chests are better. They're not any better in the underworld than they are in the moon, than they are in the overworld. However, you cannot find summons items, you can't find the really, really nice equipment. None of that's going to be in these chests.
But you can still find pretty decent stuff, so...
Yeah, and that's how you can find crystal shields, 2 of them in Baron. So, yeah, anything except for those things can be in any chest, and there's no bias.
And so the key to the picking up items and chests is, do you need money to buy like the J items or the curative items that you need? If you've got sirens, Bacchus wines, cure 3s, that sort of thing, and you just sell any excess equipment for that, and is your party outfitted the way that you like? Once you've got those solved, then you don't need to bother opening up chests anymore.
Okay, and we are seeing Chocosura go to Mount Hobbs. We'll be picking up Palom there.
Palom, after that Lunar Dragon fight. neerrm is raiding Rydia's house in Mist. And it looks like we saw that we do have sirens available for sale in Toria. And MrUbiq is now routing down to Silveria to check out the treasures that are there in the shops.
I am seeing a twin harp on MrUbiq's side. I'm going to assume that was from Fabul.
Yeah, I missed that fight, but unfortunately, I must have been watching the other 3 quarters.
What? Oh, it's from Sheila. Okay, thank you, chat. And it's everyone's gone off into the wilds here.
Yeah, it's hard to keep track of everything, but I'll try to do my best.
I'm a little surprised then that MrUbiq didn't do the Fabul fight, because I think I would have noticed that. So
That must be why, like, if there was going to be a boss fight there, MrUbiq might be just trying to get the party set up before doing any bosses. I'm not sure.
I would say it's a gamble no matter what. I'm just thinking that, it's K2, not every key item spot's gonna be a key item. So
That's a good point. And as we said, for MrUbiq as well as Choco and Demerine, this is you're going to want to make the gambles because you want to end up being in first place for sure in this race.
That's right. There is not going to be much worth of getting anything but first for Choco, Demerine, or MrUbiq. I think MrUbiq and Demerine are both at 5, and Choco's at 7. So Choco has the most leeway of the 3 of them, and neerrm is at 6 and has 2 races left.
Right. So yeah, this is a very important race in the league for our runners tonight, and so we might see a little less playing it safe, a little bit more gambling, and going to Sheila and heading to Fabul without fighting the Fabul gauntlet there is definitely the sort of gamble that we might see.
I wouldn't be surprised to see more gambles, and it actually looks like we're getting some more convergence now, where we have people doing. Choco and MrUbiq doing Antline. They're going to pick up a Luca key. Demerine is going to head down into the underworld.
Yeah, probably going to go find that Baron key in the Land of Summon Monsters. Actually looks like Demerine's going to do an early grind here. Had found the Sirens for Salutoria, and now is going to use... Well, we'll see how many, maybe 1, maybe 2. Might be, since she found Palom, might be tempted to grind until Palom learns something like Virus or Quake to make him a lot more useful.
Which is quite quick, as I recall. I think maybe 1 or 2 egg fights will get Palom up to being able to use some of those really nice spells.
Yeah, it is a bit dangerous at these low levels, because once that egg hatches and becomes the yellow dragon, it can do some more damage. But it looks like there was hourglasses available, because I'm not seeing that egg hatch.
Yep, he used an hourglass too, or Demerine used an hourglass too.
So that's going to make the egg fights very safe.
And let's see. Oh, you get a Bursk, you get a Virus, and Quake. Yes, so that's all it takes is one round. It really wouldn't surprise me to see everyone else do that, because that's very useful. Early level Palom can overtake most of the overworld bosses just by throwing a few Quakes at them. Maybe except for the Zot locations.
Sure, but even then it'll probably be a big help. But they'll have to make the play over to Toria in order to do that, and I don't know if anyone has done that other than Demerine at this point. Although if they were to find, for example, a Siren in a chest, then that one Siren would be enough to get Palom to that Quake level 2 as well.
They did all see the Sirens, right? They were in
Toria, and so I don't know if other... I know Demerine explored a lot more of the overworld because everybody else went underground right away, so I don't know if they've been there yet. I can't imagine they're going to skip it. There's 2 item shops in there. There's a lot of chests in the castle as well. It's a pretty common place for people to check, as we see. It looks like MrUbiq is heading there right now. So I expect them to go there. It's just when they decide to route it in that will determine whether or not it's worth it to do that grind that Demerine did.
There are 2 shops. If they're missing any other J items, they're going to go there eventually.
Oh yeah, I think it will be routed in. It just depends on when and how many bosses they do before that too. Looks like neerrm and Choco are both heading into the Fabul Gauntlet fight now, so we get to see what's going on there.
Looks like a Moonroth. Oh boy. Oh, Plague.
having the second level elemental spells from Palom are going to help on this one. If Palom was still the default level 10 start, this could be a very difficult fight, but I think with the higher level Sid and the Palom second level elemental spells, they should be able to take out this boss.
Still is going to be rather tight. Let's see. All right, neerrm takes it out without too much trouble. That's a very low number. Oh no! Uh-oh. No, that's...
I guess I underestimated the power of the plague.
That countdown. It was the final countdown.
That's going to be a tough wipe for Chocosura there.
Especially since I'm pretty sure that was the crystal.
Oh, you are absolutely right.
That's a big loss for Choco. Oh no. I'll bet you.
We've got the sirens, we've got the crystal. We need the pass or the darkness crystal now.
It really could be a long while before Choco goes back there. I mean, I would say maybe after getting the pan and going down to give Yang a good old tap on the head with it.
That's the thing. That's with these... When the crystal or an item like the darkness crystal is located in one of the early spots and you end up wiping there, it might be quite a while before you decide to route that back in. That's a good point.
And that's the other thing with these flags, or really just with the randomizer, this randomizer in general, you really don't know where any item can be. The crystal could be anywhere.
Yeah, Ogopogo spot could be guarding the crystal for all you know.
Right. Well, it looks like MrUbiq is at least going to take Plague on.
Yeah, and Demerine's going to have those levels when she decides to go up to Bobold as well. I had a really quick peek in for the Sandruby character. I saw a blue head. I couldn't tell. It might have been Fusia. It might have been Edge. But it was too close for me to know for sure.
There's a good chance we'll never see him anyways. Chat's thinking it's Edge, and I didn't really catch enough of a glimpse of it, but if it is Edge, we will be right back there.
Well, as soon as we get the Sandruby.
Assuming we get the Sandruby. So we get Mylon standard in the first spot here. This is normally more of a giveaway spot, but it's clearly a little bit tricky here. Let's see who's in the second.
And this is one of those bosses that you don't want to see there. You'd much rather see Mylon Z here, because that first spot in the Baron Inn is generally a pretty free fight. It's pretty easy. And so you'd rather see Mylon Z, or the first Mylon fight, in a more difficult spot. But you take what you get.
Probably, I mean, the young karate spot. Let's get the Baron or the Kaipo guards, so that's not so bad.
Well, the thing is, they do hit pretty hard.
If they get a hit on, but they use Stardusts.
Well, neerrm is not using a Stardust, using Dancing Dagger strats, but got the Hourglass off, and that's going to make the fight free.
And they'll be picking up a package for their troubles. I imagine Choco will go ahead and check that out pretty quickly.
Well, that's a gamble too. The package is a pretty long cutscene in order to just get a character. So we'll see if they decide to do that. Demerine is fighting Plague to get her crystal. The virus makes very short work of Plague, which is a bit off flavor-wise, but still works.
Oh, Tella. Choco, you saved, right? Yes, you did.
We're right outside Mist, so that's good.
So no, it's just Choco that does not have the crystal.
That's correct.
And we don't know how long it's going to take for Choco to get back to Fabul. That's unfortunate, but anything can happen. We still don't have any way to get to the moon. We would love 10 more items, or 10 key items in general, just to get the double experience. I'm sure we'd love 10 more. We as chat would love 10 more. Actually, I as a commentator would love to see the Dark Elf spot.
Yeah, that's always a fun one to see.
So I hope at least one of our runners decides to prioritize that.
Yeah, we do have the Twin Harp in play, but I don't know, that again, that's one of those places that a lot of runners who are desperate for fast times will try to avoid, because of it's a medium-sized cave and a cutscene that's quite a bit of time at the bottom. It does give you some sweet tunes, but it's not really the fastest place that people can go.
I am very relieved Choco is heading back towards Fabula.
Yeah, that's a good sign. I wouldn't want somebody to lose the race based on just an early web to Plague.
Well, that also puts our racers on pretty equal footing. I mean, just looking at their key item counts, there's really not much difference between all of them.
No, I would agree, and the fact that there's so many places that are open up to the runners, we see different paths being taken. Like Demerine's now heading up Mount Ordeals, which is probably a decent gamble here, because that's another one of the spots that a lot of runners avoid because of the cutscene, 3 bosses. It just takes a long time, and you can't use exit out of there either. So if this ends up being where something like the Darkness Crystal is located, that could put Demerine in a huge advantage. But if not, it could put her further behind.
And it's another one of the gambles, and I've been seeing it taken by usually at least one runner in these league matches, because if it does have something, it really does help.
And Choco using an interesting strategy on the play, using one of those Star Veils for the wall spell to be on Rosa, which makes the count that Plague does get reflected back on him, which just confuses Plague that all of the characters don't have the same count going on. So just reapplies the count over and over and over again, making it so it's basically a free fight at that point.
Although a long fight, and time does matter.
Yeah, but I think once you've lost to Plague once, you just want to make sure you don't lose to Plague again.
Absolutely not, yeah.
So Demerine now in the back attack spot up on Mount Ordeals, and finds the Dark Elf there. Who is now changing into the Dark Dragon.
I don't recall we have any of the strats that would normally make this Dark Elf fight rather easy available to us right now.
No, so this is just going to be the value of the egg that Demerine had defeated earlier, using Quake to defeat this boss here.
We do have a 2-for-1 sale over at the Dwarf Castle. We've got Luca's necklace combined with Rydia's mother. I see a Mist Dragon there.
Oh yeah, finding that is always one. You want to get that out of the way and not have to hunt for the dragon.
Absolutely. But something else to keep in mind is we haven't seen a lot of equipment. So in K2, any key item spot can be replaced by the high-end equipment that we'd normally find on the lunar bosses. I haven't seen that. We've been getting a lot of actual key items.
Now, what is this, K1?
Right.
Ooh,
that's
there's a tough. There's a tough lunar fight right there. Near getting a Stardust off. There is a Star Veil. Is the Star Veil going to get off in time?
I feel a little bad because down on... Oh, it didn't. Now I feel even worse. We'll say you cursed neerrm and I cursed Demerine. How's that? Because all we got down there was a defense sword.
Well, I'll own that. Yeah, I think what happened there was neerrm saw the word star, chose that as the item for the first character, and it turned out to be the Stardust, and so used that as an attack. Meant to choose the Star Veil, but the Stardust did go off before the Wyvern got the Megaducon, so if neerrm would have hit that Star Veil first, probably would have had the wall and probably would have been facing a defeated Wyvern there.
And while the Wyvern will not block path to the underworld, it didn't possibly block it because we got it from the beginning. So this could be the Darkness Crystal that we're looking for up here in Marin.
It could be, absolutely.
Or it could be the pass on these flags. The pass is a key item, and I mean, either of those would put neerrm in go mode.
All right, this time neerrm did get the...
It wasn't enough.
Yeah, but from here, it's going to be easier to... you've got a little bit of time to revive the characters, do the last amounts of damage. I think the amount of damage that was reflected is pretty significant, so hopefully that Dancing Dagger will be enough to take out the Wyvern.
Well, with any luck. Otherwise, he's going to be facing down a whole bunch of nukes. Okay, it was.
Is that the Fabul Gauntlet of the second spot of the Dwarf Castle?
It
Man,
is.
those two key items take some time to get.
Those are some of the two slowest yet not most complicated fights.
Oh yeah, the Mist Dragon and the Fabul Gauntlet, yeah, without a doubt.
And we have Cecil as our character. Well, we still can hold out hope that there was something useful in that Dwarf Castle key item spot. Of course, then again, you also hold out hope that maybe Rydia's mama's got something. Maybe she was holding on to a Darkness Crystal. Or maybe she's got the paths to Zeramis, which is... Why would she have that?
Maybe before it was changed to a path to Zeramis and it was just the exclusive nightclub, maybe Rydia's mom was just a patron.
Well, it's possible. I wonder why they renovated it.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like the club would have been more profitable. But here we have neerrm fighting the Evil Wall in the fake King of Baron spot.
It's down.
Yeah, once you get Palom having Quake, bosses in this area usually aren't that difficult. Wyvern, of course, is a special kind of monster.
Very monstrous, but if you get the Star Veils off, it tends to do a lot of its damage to itself right away, and then after that, so yeah.
Yeah, neerrm getting Uncle Mop joining the party.
Well, that puts a lot of value on Baron. Let's see what the key item is. And yes, I want to hear the Twin Heart music too. Long as March.
Looks like the Dark Elf was able to whisper and turn Rosa into a pig on Chocosura's screen.
Did you catch that? Because that was closed mighty fast.
That was
okay,
close.
Good. Well, if we need to call any ticks...
Well, now we know why neerrm is a speedrunner, because of the really fast menuing, things like that.
I see music coming in our future.
Yeah, we've got a Cave Magnus route here.
I would not have thought that neerrm would be the one to do this, but thank you so much, neerrm. You have my undying love and affection. Alright, we have MrUbiq through the gauntlet. Now he's just going to have the entire Fabul Gauntlet's disembodied hand steal the actual crystal.
I bet it was the gargoyle.
I'll bet you. Although, why is it blue?
Demerine now in the wyvern fight as well.
Demerine did get the wall off, and she'll have a much... Well, we'll see how much damage. She'll have a much easier fight, yes. Life staff.
Yeah. It's a very good white mage equipment, without a doubt, but it's not a darkness crystal or a pets.
It's certainly not the worst thing to see there.
Alright, looks like we're just about to see, as I like to refer to it, DJ Spoony B's Rockin' Tunes. As Fussy is trying to kill himself before the nasty music begins.
Oh my.
Yeah, there we go.
The darkness crystal.
There we go.
Well, you know what? I'm still appreciative of the nasty music, but MrUbiq is in go mode, so now MrUbiq has a bunch of options available. He's gonna go right for the whale, of course.
That makes sense. Get the character, check the shop on the moon, and then probably do the grind is my guess. But we'll see. Might try to get to the 10 key items, but on K2 that's a lot more difficult than on a K1 seed.
You all know this one. The decisive battle is the boss theme from FF6, in case you don't.
Right before I started commentating this race, I was playing a seed myself and had the opera from Final Fantasy VI. So it's a Final Fantasy VI sort of day when it comes to harp music. I'm very happy, I'm sure, to see the Dark Imps in the spot too. That's not a difficult boss. I was able to use the hourglass.
Alright, well, while we do have MrUbiq with all of the equipment to get to Zeromus and to start taking Zeromus on, MrUbiq does have a different problem, and that's that his party is nowhere near up to snuff. He has Dark Knight Cecil, he's got Rosa, which is great, Palin, which is great, and Sid, which is good. 3 of those characters are okay. Dark Knight Cecil is just Cecil, is just useless.
Yeah, so MrUbiq's going to hope for a useful character here on the moon. If he finds someone like a Kane, like a Yang, someone like that, then might be able to just go with, assuming that Dark Knight Cecil's going to die, and roll with the 4 characters to Zeromus. But we'll see what characters available here and what decision MrUbiq does decide to make.
And we have Choco going into the Wyvern fight.
It is a relief that it looks like all the runners who have gone into Baron Castle have found those and purchased the Star Veils before going in. So that's
Yep, every one of them went to Agart before going into... Well, of course they would have had to, because the Baron Key was in the underground. But we only found a pink tail over at Dark Elf spot, and definitely not what neerrm's looking for.
It does add to the key item count, but you're right, not what you're looking for. All right, so MrUbiq heading into the Lunar Palace. See if it is a useful character or if it's Edward.
I see a Yang.
Yeah, Yang. Yang is definitely a useful character. So yeah, I would think, again, as we stated at the beginning of the race, MrUbiq is one of the racers who's kind of in a really wants to win mode. So I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, MrUbiq going right into the lunar subterranean, might be trying to grind on the moon here, and because he's got the crystal, so might be ready to go down, and we'll see what happens.
Unfortunately, we've already seen a lot of what we would call the free bosses that can be easily, cheesed by various items. So he's going to find something difficult down here, and I don't know if he'll be able to take it on.
Well, we'll see if bosses are what's in order, or if he wants to do. I know there's a spot where if you've got the sirens, I believe Ubik has gone to Troria, but can use the sirens to summon King Ryus and grind off those.
Yes, and you can also some of the moon boss spots give quite a bit of experience as well.
That's definitely true. So there's a couple different options that you can use to grind here on the moon.
So we do see that neerrm and Demerine are both right in the dwarf castle. Now, Demerine did ordeals, so her Cecil is going to be quite a bit more useful than neerrm's.
Yeah, and also as Fusia already up to 1600 out of 1900 HP, so Fusia is almost at full power. Yeah, as we see, not a lot of equipment for Yang there on MrUbiq's screen, but that's not too bad. Yang doesn't rely as much on the equipment as he does the levels, because he gets a very good HP growth. His strength and agility growth is very good, and his damage output is good at higher levels, even without a lot of equipment.
Yeah, Yang's definitely a great choice, especially when you don't have equipment, because even without like a black belt, a karate robe, or a power robe, if you get really lucky, he can still dish out quite a bit of punishment.
Yeah, and MrUbiq did have a cat claw, which does help quite a bit, but still not a whole lot else other than that, but that should be fine. Yeah, so not want to fight Ashura there, but Pale Dim, I guess does not want to fight Pale Dim either, but I thought Pale Dim might be one that MrUbiq might want to try to take on.
Pale Dim is pretty difficult. I mean, each only uses physical attack, so if he has a Moon Veil, he can get rid of that threat entirely, and then it's just getting through it. But that's a long fight if you do that.
Okay, it does look like MrUbiq is going to do the King Ryu grind here.
One person has been to Cave Magnus. We did get to hear a lovely song thanks to neerrm.
Yeah, lovely song for Final Fantasy VI.
It was the decisive battle, the boss theme.
So after this fight of the Fabul Gauntlet for neerrm and Demerine, the question is how fast do they go to Mist to get that other key item? Hopefully, for both of their sakes, they go right away.
I would imagine they would both go right away.
I would also imagine that, but I've seen some strange things in this league sometimes.
I think especially in neerrm's case, neerrm is going to go right towards that play. Demerine might be thinking about maybe it's not anything, and maybe she might go somewhere else, but
I could imagine that, yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me to see neerrm go right up. All right, you know what? Okay, fine.
I told you. You see some weird things sometimes. So it looks like neerrm is trying to route in those bosses down at the bottom of of the Land of Summon Monsters before heading back up. But, so this is a case where Demerine could really take a lead over neerrm here if she decides to go up and check out that missed item, Rydia's mom spot.
I'm a little surprised though. Maybe neerrm just forgot. Fabul Gauntlet is very long, and it's very boring too. So it's very easy to let your mind wander and just be like, I don't remember what I was doing.
That's true, and it does look like we've got a frozen stream from Demerine, which is unfortunate because I'd like to see where she is right now.
It looks
okay,
like
she's back.
Well, she's back, but we don't know where she is. Meanwhile, we have MrUbiq finishing his first grind fight, I believe, or maybe it was his second. I'm not sure if he really is in the mood to do any more of those.
I think it was just one, but it's going to get a lot of levels for his characters. Those King Ryus, the XP that you get is quite good.
And we see that the Baron guards are over on neerrm's screen here, and that we're very much out of free fights. I don't think everything on the moon is going to be something difficult.
And those guards had something to say before they got stopped. That is a lot of physical damage.
Yeah, the Leviathan spot is very painful, but Leviathan doesn't use physical attacks, which is proof that he's holding back.
Well, it's one of these things, when you're playing this randomizer, you learn that the magic-only bosses tend to have really high physical attacks, too, so watch out when you're fighting King and Queen Evelyn, too.
I mean, look, Leviathan did sort of adopt Rydia for how many years?
Well, I mean, it was just like 2 hours in playtime.
Well, like 4 when I was a kid, but anyways. Would Egg Grind have been the better play? Egg Grind would have been easier. A lot of time, like we had mentioned, this match is a do or die on this. So MrUbiq may have been thinking this is the time to try the moon grind.
Well, and the other thing is, he was already on the moon to get the character and get young, and it's going to be. He's got the darkness crystal for Go mode, not the pass. So it's the time that it takes to go and use the big whale, to go back down to Earth, transfer to an airship, move all the way down to the underground, and then do the egg grind, and then do it all back in reverse. So it's that time is not nothing, and so might think if I could do it all in one go right now, that might just be better.
Yeah, and I'm sure that he probably wouldn't. I mean, it's okay to go to the moon, get the character, and then go back to the underworld for grinding. But if you're routing in the moon bosses too, then you definitely want to do your grind on the moon, get the moon bosses out of the way, and then once you're done with that, go to right over to Zemus.
Yeah, and if the Ashura Impaled Dim that MrUbiq found down there were bosses that were more in line with what he would feel comfortable defeating at that point, then this could have paid off big time. But it looks like it might be. Well, we'll see. Like, it's still, I think, a real close fight right now, depending on how long it takes Demerine and neerrm to get that. Looks Demerine got the Darkness Crystal and is doing her grind now. So right now, those two, Demerine and Ubik. Demerine's doing the egg grind, and we'll see if that's going to be enough to catch up to Ubik here.
I still think the egg grind is certainly easier than the King Ryu grind, and
oh yeah, no, without a doubt, it's an easier grind. But is it going to pay off in time? We'll see.
Meanwhile, neerrm did not go check the Miss Dragon spot or the Rydia's mum spot, and neerrm is going to go get another item from the Ashura spot.
Yeah, and this could end up paying off for neerrm too, because if neerrm could get how many key items? One,
Ye-
two, three,
He's got 9.
6, 7, 8, 9, and the 10th would be the darkness crystal. So if neerrm routes up, gets the heads to mist 10 key items, that grind could go a lot faster.
Well, he's got to have a key item before he's in go mode anyway, so his grind will be with 10 key items.
Yeah, absolutely. But he just doesn't know right now if that darkness crystal is going to be here in the land of summoned monsters or up with Rydia's Bomb and Mist.
So let's see what he gets from the Ashura spot. Well, 3 more spells, of course. Oh, and that's not what we want to see. Glass Helm. I agree that glass does rhyme with pass. That's not helpful, though.
No, at this point in the game, the glass helmet is not really helpful at all. Probably not going to be taking any physical bosses at this point.
And if neerrm goes right up into Mist Dragon spot, or rather Rydia's mom spot, I'll eventually get that right, then he would not be taking on any more physical bosses.
Right, that's... I've got to imagine neerrm's a very good... Oh, but going to Luca.
Alexa in chat with the curse. Thank you for cursing neerrm instead of us.
Yeah, we laid out our curses earlier, so sorry, Demerine, that was me.
Uh-oh, neerrm.
Oh,
yes.
Backing out, remembered the Mist Dragon fight.
Yes, that is clearly the sign of someone who forgot and then remembered.
Yeah. Alexa, if you were on commentary, he would have gone into the cave.
Absolutely. That's a half curse. Well, that makes things interesting, because now we have neerrm in go mode, we've got MrUbiq in go mode, but neerrm's grind is going to be half the length.
Yeah,
I see.
This is going to be a real close finish, it looks like. Choco is at the Mist Dragon fight as well, so Choco's not going to be that far behind into go mode either.
Not at all. And okay, I saw neerrm moving weak onto a top spot. I was kind of hoping to see a D machine grind, but now we're going to get some more omelets.
Yeah, I think unless you've got other reasons to go to the giant, if you've got the sirens available to you, it's just going to be faster to do the eggs, because getting in and out of the giant isn't fast.
No, it's not fast by any means. And getting into the fight isn't fast, and you know, it takes a lot of healing. It can be very bad. If you happen to let it get out of hand, the grind fight can get you. I don't think neerrm would get it, but this is interesting, because I saw him move weak, and I'm thinking that he just did that out of like muscle memory or something.
Possibly. The other thing to consider is Demerine's going to have Paladin Cecil in the fight against Zemus, whereas neerrm is almost certainly not going to complete Mount Ordeals, and is just going to have Dark Knight Cecil probably sitting there laying down for most of that fight. So that's going to change the damage output as well.
Yeah, so you will not have Cecil doing any sort of damage at all. I mean, with this party, neerrm may try and do reflect strats. 2 white mages, technically 2 black mages if you count food twice. I would also imagine that as soon as Dark Knight Cecil is at a nice agility, he's going to be eating dirt.
Yeah, that seems reasonable too. Looks like MrUbiq is just not bothering leveling Dark Knight Cecil at all. Still at 282 HP, so that's like level 12 or something like that. So.
Well, Dark Knight Cecil right now is level 37. I actually Is Paladin Cecil's, is his abilities or his stats different than Dark Knight Cecil's? I thought they were.
I'm not sure, but I was looking at MrUbiq.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, he's had Cecil dead from pretty much the moment he started.
Right. neerrm is leveling Dark Knight Cecil, as you said, probably to get to an agility level that you like. And chat saying that Dark Knight Cecil and Paladin Cecil have different agility growths.
That's what I was thinking. I know that if you get Paladin Cecil to 45, that's your 28 agility. You can knock him off and be done with it.
Well, whatever agility Dark Knight Cecil's at now, neerrm is happy with it, as Rosa plays the part of Cupid and hits Cecil with the bow and arrow, knocking him down.
Oh, that's sweet. I mean, in a like really dark, cynical Hunger Games sort of way. I think I see Rivers is definitely trying to cheer someone on in chat.
Well, MrUbiq was the first one in go mode, so
MrUbiq was the first one in go mode, was the first one to really start a full-on grind.
yeah.
And actually, I think Rivers' energy didn't quite make it.
Nope. Another siren being used. Here comes the hourglass. Gonna fight some more King Ryus.
Ooh. If MrUbiq goes now, if he finishes this fight and starts climbing down to go take on Zemus, he could win. neerrm has got about 3 to 4 more grind fights at least. Maybe 2 if I don't have my math right, just looking at their HP.
Looks like Demerine's getting in her airship. She might be done with her grind. Yep, she's heading to Mysidia, so she's gonna get that big whale.
Oh, so if Demerine starts climbing down just as MrUbiq finishes up his grind fight, she could get down to Zemus before MrUbiq does.
Yeah, this is going to be very close, I think. And neerrm's just about done with the grind too, so this is going to be very close overall. Yep, neerrm getting in the airship too.
And chocosura has finished Dwarf Castle and did find the Mist Dragon. Hopefully Choco remembers that, yeah, there's, Rydia's mom.
Ooh, MrUbiq using exit?
This doesn't make sense. Does he not know about the refill?
I don't know. That's Oh yeah, it's going to get a heal. Oh no. Yes, you'd absolutely get a free heal before Zemus, because that's the cutscene where after Zemus defeats or is defeated by Golbez and Fusia, all your friends give you the vitality and the energy. They heal you.
We'll definitely have to ask him about that. It's easy to forget little things like that when you're in the thick of a race like this. Nerves get the best of
going
you.
shopping.
Okay, maybe looking for Bacchus wines. I don't. Of course, the runners. This is a randomizer, so runners don't know how close it is. Oh, Bacchus wines.
Oh, okay, so that might pay off.
Well, maybe it would certainly make things easier, but it's not going to make things terribly quicker.
Demerine was involved in a race last night where she took second place by, like, I think it was 13 or 18 seconds. So, deciding to go shopping, which she did last night too, might cost her first place again.
That is unfortunate. I mean, normally when you're running these races, you don't think that you're seconds behind someone, but
right.
I mean, these 3 racers, neerrm, MrUbiq, and Demerine, are seconds apart.
Yeah, right now it's going to be how well they play the Zemus fight and the party composition that they have, what items they have available to you. So,
MrUbiq, what are you doing?
No, not more King Ryus. He's got plenty of levels, doesn't he?
Well,
I guess it's what you're comfortable with, isn't it?
it absolutely is what you're comfortable with, and if you wipe on Zeromus, then you can lose your lead in a moment. Can be quicker to get that last fight in than to wipe on Zeromus for sure, but I mean, when you're in your fight for your life race here, it's probably not the time to play it safe. But
it is worth noting also, neerrm did decide to ditch Dark Knight Cecil for the default Yang, 300 HP Yang.
I mean, he must have been doing that out of spite more than anything else. Yes, he would need to grind with Yang. So he's not going to do it. So Yang is going to eat the floor instead of Dark Knight Cecil.
Right.
But he wasted all that time leveling Dark Knight Cecil, so now I'm confused. Maybe he intended to grab this character, whoever it was.
That might be, but then I don't know about the decision to just kill Dark Knight Cecil at the point that he did. That's unusual.
All right, so MrUbiq is leading our actual foot race right now.
Yep, absolutely. It looks like MrUbiq's going to be the first one to enter the Zeromus fight. Demerine is in the last save room.
Choco up there is unfortunately looks like he's prepping to do a whole bunch of boss fights.
Oh, neerrm is going to level Yang a little bit, going to the King Ryu fight.
Oh so man, we already know. We know that they don't know how close it is, and this is just so nail biting.
Yeah. So right now it's between Demerine and MrUbiq.
Of course, with the X2 flag, he will get a bunch of levels on Yang.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Like, this is probably the only fight that's going to take place in this kind of mini grind for neerrm, but...
Alright, so we have MrUbiq going into the Zeromus fight, and Demerine is right behind him.
Yeah, this has turned out to be a great race.
He forgot to revive Yang.
Oh no!
I'm confused. We're gonna have to ask him about that.
Looks like a chat saying wanted Palom to learn nuke.
Okay, that's fair.
But I don't know, getting a ton of levels on Yang doesn't seem like it would have been a bad choice at that point either. I don't know.
Alright, I do want to see who our sprite is. I don't recognize that. D. Evan?
Oh, this is a...
I'm seeing Breath of Fire too. It's fine. I've never played the Breath of Fire series, and I'll just go see myself out.
Yeah, well, I'll join you on the way out. Like, yep, haven't played a great series. So.
It's clear that chat is very much fans of Breath of Fire. Yeah. I would imagine most people watching RPG Limit Break have also seen Breath of Fire, but I've never played it. Someone needs to make a randomizer for it. That's all you need.
No, I was too busy playing Final Fantasy Legends series, so...
Oh, there's a good series.
So here we are, final fight. Demerine's got the party advantage, I gotta say, with having all 5 members being useful for this fight. But MrUbiq did enter the battle a little bit early.
MrUbiq did enter the battle a little bit earlier, and I believe MrUbiq is at higher levels.
Yeah, slightly higher levels it looks like. It's... Ooh. Ate a full power Big Bang there.
That's unfortunate. Palom did eat it right there. I might just go full berserk strats and don't even bother rezzing Palom.
Yeah, just like holding on Rosa to Cure 4 when necessary. neerrm now also in the Zeromus fight, or D-Evanmus.
Chocosura did go back up, so Chocosura is gonna join everyone else. Unfortunately, too late to actually get in on this, but
all things considered, not going to be too far behind.
No. But just look at our 3 runners who are in there. We've got neerrm, who has basically 4 characters. MrUbiq, who also basically has 4 characters. I would say Demerine is the only one who actually has 5 usable characters, and looks like she does intend to keep them all up. Although Palom is going to die pretty quickly.
And neerrm does have it looks like the overall level advantage. Well, I guess it's pretty close between neerrm and MrUbiq on that.
Oh my. Oh no. No, that's so bad for Demerine. Yeah, that is a reset. That is a reset. Oh. That's unlucky. If Fu did not eat that nuke, that would have been recoverable.
Yeah, that might cost Demerine this race.
If neerrm and MrUbiq hold on to it, I would believe it would. So now it really is between MrUbiq and neerrm. The thing is, neerrm is using reflect strats, and with that, if neerrm can get the reflect strats off and manage to skip that HP refill on Zemus, he could take this home.
Yeah, the reflect strategy is a very fast one, as long as no mistakes are made.
It's not forgiving at all.
Yeah, MrUbiq's strategy is a lot safer by having the frontline fighters berserked up and swinging as hard as they can, and tier 4ing when necessary with Rosa.
Yeah, the strat that MrUbiq is using, I would say, is one of the safest strats. I've heard someone say once that as long as you have Rosa and the melee fighter, you can beat Zemus.
So long as they can survive the Big Bang, then I would say yes. It just would take longer. Like neerrm's strategy is definitely going to be a faster strategy, but it is riskier.
Oh, neerrm got lucky on that nuke bounce. That counter nuke, or just a regular old nuke that Zemus throws at you, can be reflected.
Yeah, that's always a lucky break when that happens when you reflect strategies.
Very important when doing reflect strategies is to... Oh, bye, Sid.
Yeah, those walls don't last forever.
Well, this got more interesting.
Yeah, without a doubt. Now neerrm's going to have to try to recover here.
neerrm can recover, it's just... Ooh. Well, MrUbiq is definitely back in this.
Oh, yeah, especially since we just seen Medio.
Oh, everyone back on the edge of your seats. Remember that typically, with reflect strats, you may not even see Medio.
Right.
Oh, nope, that's it. GG, MrUbiq.
Wow.
GG's in chat, everyone. That was intense. Whew.
Wow, that was a great race. That was a great race.
That was wonderful, and wonderful job to MrUbiq.
When we were questioning some of those King Ryu fights, they ended up paying off in the end. Got the damage in fast enough to take first place in this race, and MrUbiq really needed that first place, so that was very well done.
And now we'll just go back over and see if neerrm or Demerine are going to get second.
Yeah, this is still a bit of a nail biter. neerrm is in rough shape right now.
Very rough shape. This is not what you want to see. Maybe... Let's see if he... Oh, no, he's going to just try and do the Mercy nuke. This is a Hail Mary if ever there was one. Hail Palom? Hail Porum. Hail Rosa. Wow.
It worked! There's the flash.
That's amazing. I would not have expected that.
That's what it takes. The desperation nuke lands neerrm a second place finish in this race. GG's to neerrm. Wow.
All right, now we focus on Demerine. I really think if Demerine didn't have that unlucky nuke and got food through that, she may have been able to take on neerrm and get it in second.
Yeah, considering neerrm had, well, she might have even been able to take first because MrUbiq's strategy was not the fastest one, with the two Zerkers and Rosa healing. And neerrm was in scrambling to recover. Like, if neerrm didn't have to recover like he did, he might have been able to take out MrUbiq and take first place too. I think it could have been anybody's game, I think, when they entered that Zemus fight.
It absolutely could have been. And with 3 people in Zemus fights at the exact same time, I mean, anything can happen in that Z fight. Even for people who've been doing this for a very long time, it can go sideways pretty quickly.
Yeah, and like I often say this when I do commentary, but Zemus is no joke. It's a legit final boss. It's no freebie. Even for experienced runners. It looks like Demerine is still having some trouble eating some high damage rolls on those big bangs that are not nerfed.
Yeah, Fusoya with 1800 HP will die to a high damage roll big bang. And I don't know, I'm assuming Fusoya has the same equipment that he comes with, which is some protection, but not much.
Yeah, like Sorcerer Robe, Rune Ring. These are pretty good equipment, but not great. And yeah, he eats it again. So Demerine might be that strategy that you mentioned earlier. One fighter and Rosa.
You can win. You berserk the fighter and you cure 4 with Rosa, and you wait. So it sounds like we are going to go ahead and get an interview with MrUbiq and with neerrm. We're just waiting for them to set up their microphones and set up their Discords. Just one moment from that. While we're waiting, we can kind of go over a quick recap, which was that we had the pan as a starting item behind Sheila. We had the Baron key. If you went into Baron, that was nothing. I'm sorry, I'm thinking of the wrong match.
Yeah, like we definitely started with the magma key.
Here's what happens, right? When you do so this has been a very busy weekend for the league, and this is only the start of our Sunday matches.
Oh yeah. There were, I think, 3 matches yesterday.
There were 3 yesterday, and there are at least 2 today. I believe there might actually be 3. Let me see. In the meantime, though, we do have MrUbiq here in chat. GG's. Congrats on your win.
Thank you very much. I can't believe that happened.
Yeah, so tell us what you were thinking when you were getting near the end there.
I really didn't know how close anybody else was because of where I found the darkness crystal. I don't know if people would have jumped into that fight right when they did. Like, I skipped a lot of stuff that I don't usually skip. So I wanted to get Palom Nuke, and then I was going to give it a try. I didn't have any gear, so I was really worried about people dying to unnerfed Big Bangs.
Yeah, and well, you did have some people lying down on the ground, but you had 2 fighters, and you had Rosa healing them up, and that was just enough to eke out the win there.
Yeah, Nerm right behind me. That was crazy.
Yeah, and you were the first one in go mode, and decided to go to the moon and route it all in together, getting that last character. It turned out to be somebody useful. It was young. You went in and did the grind on those King Ryos and went in. So is that kind of what your plan was, or were you thinking about going back and doing an egg grind at some point?
No, I definitely I prefer to grind if I have moon access, and definitely less than 10 key items. And I knew eventually I'd get weak on Palom, and that would just if I needed to grind more at that point, it'd speed it up so much. Looking for some free bosses when I first got to the moon, because I thought that would just jumpstart the levels, because I knew the first couple fights were going to be real slow.
I did notice that you were looking for those free fights. Unfortunately, at that point, we had already seen pretty much all of the free fights that exist, and none of them were on the moon.
I remember seeing several of them. I was hoping just maybe 1 or 2, the 3 guards and the captain fight on the moon. I've run into that so many times recently, and it's just given me so many levels.
Okay, so this was your was this your final race?
My last race, I think it puts me at 9 points, so I still don't know. Maybe play in, maybe the 17 to 20 play in if I'm lucky.
Yeah, and you know and that's exactly what you need shots. So how do you feel about that in the league going forward?
Oh, I mean, I couldn't. Today was the day I needed to show up, and I guess I did. I need to thank neerrm, actually. There was a race a while ago where he just booked it to the fight with 3 people and just grinded to where he needed to be, and that's what kind of got me in the mindset for seeds like this, where you get go mode real fast and you don't necessarily have a great party or gear, but you just go for it.
Yeah, in a race like this, just going for it is definitely the thing to do. And we saw that you did. You took slightly a bit of a different route than some of our other finishers, or rather, some of our other runners. Only neerrm's finished so far. neerrm actually cleared quite a bit more than you did, and then you had decided to do the moon grind instead of the egg grind, and we were kind of assuming that maybe you were thinking, okay, character moon grind or character moon bosses moon grind all at once and then go straight to Zero Mist. No one ever did find the path, so that probably was just as well.
Yeah, I definitely if I don't already have the pass and I'm grinding, and again I just feel like the XP, the eggs would have been so slow, and then I'd have to trek all the way up to the moon. And if I lucked into a good character, which I did, the best character I probably could have gotten at that point with the stuff I had, couldn't have gone better. The 2 healthiest melee people I could have gotten, so that made the unnerved Big Bangs that much easier to deal with. It was awesome.
Yeah, when you've got a high HP pool, surviving Big Bang is a lot easier, isn't it?
Yeah. I was really worried I wouldn't have the damage to last the fight, because I just knew I didn't have a lot of equipment. But I guess the poison axe and the 1 cat claw and Yang just being so good at high levels without that much gear worked out for me.
That was the other advantage to you doing the moon grind. neerrm did actually pick up Yang, but without having already finished the grind, there was no real need to he ate dirt basically, or lunar regolith, I guess.
Once I got DKC, I was really I really considered going to ordeals with the party I had, because I didn't have the 5th person at that point. But I just it worked out. I guess I kept him. He was perfect agility for me to just kill him at the beginning of my grind and leave him dead the whole time. So.
All right. Did you have any final thoughts?
No, good luck to the other racers and everybody else. I know there's still several people who have 1 or 2 races left. I'm excited to see how the league shakes down, and thank everybody, you all, for commentating and tracking and restreaming, and just the free enterprise team for putting together this amazing randomizer and the things like what we saw yesterday, the LNN broadcast. Just things like that make this community amazing, and I'm pleased to be a part of it.
Well, thank you so much for running, and congratulations on your win. We'll hopefully see you in one of the play-in matches.
Hopefully so. Thank you, and GG all.
All right, MrUbiq, go ahead and give him a follow if you're not doing it already. Winning this race, very close race. Good job. We'll see if the 9 points he's got is going to be enough to get him into the play-in races. And it looks like we may be joined by neerrm here. neerrm, are you available yet?
Hello.
Hi. How do you feel about your run?
It could have been much worse than it was in a lot of different ways.
Well, just off the top of my head, right at the end, you were doing a little bit of scrambling in that Zemus fight, but that one last nuke from Palom was enough to take him down.
Yeah, it was really close. I had counted 52k and he has 61, so I needed, and that was before the reflected nuke on Sid as well as the reflected virus, and that did. I actually wasn't even looking at that. That probably did about 2 to 3k between the two of them. So I needed that final nuke to do about 6k damage, and it did. So sometimes lucky.
I see. So it wasn't as much of a lucky play as it seemed on our side. You were
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely squeaking through, we'll say, but it was at least somewhat calculated.
So
it's definitely not how I wanted the fight to end, we'll say that.
Right.
No.
It was definitely interesting. You and MrUbiq and Demerine all entered the Zemus fight really close between all three of you. Demerine ended up taking a wipe on Zemus, but between you and Ubik was doing had 2 melee fighters that were berserked and just healing with it, and we saw you entered in just slightly behind, but you were doing the reflect strategy, which deals out damage a lot faster, so it could have been anyone's race. It was a real good fight at the end, real good race between the two of you.
Yeah, and it's actually a little bit of a misnomer. Obviously you don't have to do all this much damage if you've got doing the reflect stuff, but because of the time of like spell animation thing, it actually evens out pretty nicely between having 2 berserk characters and actually reflecting. Especially in a situation like this where my reflected nukes and whites and stuff are doing anyway 5 to 6k as opposed to like, you know, the 9999 you normally see. So sure. it evens out pretty well.
Well, it probably would have evened out better if MrUbiq had some better equipment for Yang too. So both of you were running a little bit lower than would necessarily be ideal.
Yeah, I guess it's just the nature of the seeds like this when, you know, you get the crystal handed to you, and yeah, you just gotta go. And I am really glad I remembered I had fought Mist Dragon, because I walked into Sealed Caves like, oh, I wonder if, you know, if Mist Dragon's here, I'm gonna be like in good shape. And then I was like, I already fought Mist Dragon. Uh-oh. And I turned around and left.
Yeah, we saw that. We saw you go towards there. We're like, oh no, he forgot.
I had 100% forgot.
Very easy to do with the Fable Gauntlet right after Mist Dragon. I always forget everything that I just did after Fable Gauntlet.
Maybe that's what it was. We'll blame that. We'll blame that. That sounds
okay.
Good.
That seems like a very smart strategy. Is So you have one more race left after this, don't you, neerrm?
I do, in about a week here.
Okay, how do you feel about your position so far?
Well, I've got second, and second. So if I don't get second in the final race, I'm just going to be disappointed at this point.
I will too.
But as far as like stability is concerned, I am pretty sure I'll make top 12. I don't think I'll be top 4. So it'll be interesting to see how the team drafting goes. I'm pretty sure at this point, you know, Dipwood is locked into place as one of the top 4. And I know Kobahi is lurking in the shadows. He's probably going to be one of the other two. And then the other two are like completely up in the air. There's that Rivers McCown guy who never does his races early. And yeah, I don't know. I have no idea who the fourth one's going to be.
Me neither, and I'm not really sure who that Rivers McCown guy is, but I'm sure he'll get his matches done eventually. So this puts you at 9 points. Another second place finish would put you at 12, which of course definitely gets you in. Puts you in pretty good shape in your last match. When is your last match?
It's going to be the 25th, and I couldn't tell you what time right now, but that's all. And it's a Saturday, I believe.
All right, next Saturday. I'll look that up for you.
It's around there. There's so many other matches until then. Let's watch them all.
I've got that for you. It's at 8:30 Eastern on the 25th.
Hey, it's in my calendar. I'll just have to remember it's there.
Yeah, it'll be you against Penguinator, Aizen, Tyoma, and Scratch Dragon. So that's going to be a good match next Saturday. Doesn't look like it has the channel assigned, but it'll probably be here.
If not, it's going to be on one of the other wonderful networks that Free Enterprise is shown on.
So while we've been speaking with neerrm and MrUbiq, we have a little bit of a reversal here. Demerine was grinding and has just returned to Zero Miss, but Choco is at Zero Miss right now. And this could be a fight for third.
Did you have any final thoughts, neerrm?
No, just League's been a blast. It's really interesting to see a lot of people, kind of coming out of the shadows. Like maybe they qualified in like the lower half, and all of a sudden they're winning all their races. Like people like MrUbiq and Dipwood, who are both on my fantasy team. Good job, guys. Doing very well. So it's really cool to see all of the competitive, like seeing so many people being able to be competitive with everybody, and it's really awesome.
All right. Well, I want to thank you for joining us today, and good job in your race, and good luck in your last race.
Yep, thank you very much.
GG's and good luck.
And it looks like we do have Chocosura with the flash. Chocosura has finished in 3rd place in this race. So GG's to Choco.
We'll see if we can get Choco in for an interview as well. So Choco actually had the highest score going into this race. Choco was at 7. And a 3rd place win gives another 2 points. So Choco's now tied with MrUbiq.
Yeah, so that was big. Choco, of the 3 racers today who were in their last race, Choco, Demerine, and Ubik, Choco had the most wiggle room, but still would have, of course, preferred a higher finish. But we see getting tied with MrUbiq, who took 1st place, and now fate is in. We'll see what happens when it comes to the play-ins. And now we just have Demerine in her final fight against Zemus after the grind.
I do believe we do have Chocosura here in for an interview. GG's.
GG.
So congrats on 3rd place. That was, third place is obviously not what you were looking for, but
that was ugly. I have to admit, that was ugly.
Well, tell us your thoughts about that. I mean, you followed basically the same path that neerrm did, but a little bit behind.
Yeah, when I got to 9 key items and I had the crystal and dark crystal, I was thinking, okay, let me gamble for a 10th key item down in Land of Summon Monsters. got the rat tail, so I figured, okay, my grind's going to be fine since I have double experience. Little did I know I had no hourglasses for the King Ryu grind. So I kind of had to, well, yeah, you saw for yourselves what happened
Yes.
there. So I was
Yeah.
saying that was ugly.
I saw you using the weak on them without any hourglass, and they were knocking you off.
Yeah.
That was rough. I mean, did you consider trying to do the siren grind, or was it just you wanted to do that King Ryu?
I wanted to do King Ryu's because I didn't feel like bothering with eggs. Plus, I had Cecil with no weapons, so I didn't know what to do with him. When I saw Yang, I just went ahead and took him. I didn't have any weapons for. Well, I had a weapon for Cecil, but I sold it.
Oh, okay. I was
I was
thinking
kind of irritated when I saw Cecil.
that's right, because you had done ordeals way, because the weapon for Cecil was the defense sword that was on the
Yeah.
top of ordeals. So by the time you saw Cecil, it's like, well, you
I'd already sold
made
it.
the decision. Yeah,
Yeah,
I had missed you selling it. Well, that actually explains quite a bit there.
yeah. So I had to settle for a bow and arrow for him. But like I said, when I saw Yang, I just went ahead and dumped Cecil since,
Especially since you were planning on doing the King Ryu grind at that point.
right.
That's right. neerrm actually had done the egg grind and took Young anyways to get rid of Cecil,
Oh,
which
did I
was
miss
interesting.
did I miss coffins or did I just miss?
No,
I didn't
I did
see
not see
anybody.
coffins.
Yeah.
I thought so. I didn't see coffins either. Now that I think about it, I probably could have just done eggs with virus or fatal or something. But
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like you and MrUbiq both did the King Ryu grind, whereas neerrm and Demerine both did the egg grind. So it was close. Like it wasn't really. I think that it was a lot closer in this one, considering that no one found the pass. So if you're going to do the King Ryu grind, you're going to be right next to Zemus anyways.
right. And I don't remember if I'm pretty sure I saw hourglasses in a shop somewhere.
Yeah, they were
Yes.
for sale. I don't remember which one it was in, but there were definitely hourglasses for sale.
Yeah, I know
believe
I've
it
seen them.
was- I believe it was
And I could have
Agar.
Agard. Oh,
Thing.
I could have sworn I picked some up. I just didn't write it down where I found them.
I may be remembering an old seed, which is happening tonight, but that's okay.
Yeah, that happens to me sometimes too.
All right, so this finish, I believe, puts you at 9 points, and this was your final race, correct?
Yes.
Okay, how do you feel about 9 points?
Uh, I'm feeling okay, I guess. Not really where I wanted to be. I was
Sure.
trying to shoot for 10, really. But
Yeah,
10
10
or
would put
more.
you in a much better place. In this case, we're not entirely sure. You will probably be in at least one of the play-ins.
Right.
We're just not sure which one. And if you are, it might be a rematch against MrUbiq, who also has 9 points.
Ah, I see. Yeah, I think that the race I had last night kind of killed it for me when I came in fourth place.
Yeah, when there's only 32 people in there, every race
Yeah,
can be really, really impactful.
right. And that was a very close race from what I saw from the VOD.
The one that you had done, that was last night, right?
Last night, yeah, last night.
Yep. That was another close one. So we actually had a pretty close race tonight too between MrUbiq, neerrm, and even Demerine. Demerine was in the Z fight second, but unfortunately has not been able to get through it.
Ah, I see. Oh, so did I pull ahead of her in the Z fight, or?
Yes. This is her third attempt on the Z fight, and
Yeah, she went back and did a little mini grind on some King Ryu's right as you were finishing up your grind,
Oh, okay.
and that's where you overtook her at that point.
Probably because I did reflex stress too.
yeah, your Z fight was a lot cleaner.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad, I would say. Well, I was kind of worried when I did a fight command with Sid there, during the fight, I was kind of worried that I had triggered his HP refill, but thankfully I didn't.
And that cuts about more than half of the fight out.
Yes. I was also trying to calculate damage too.
Yeah, I've
but
heard
I
mixed opinions about
messed
trying to
up somewhere.
calculate stuff during this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find it too difficult to try to do math while also fighting Zemus. So,
But
Right.
it clearly helps because both
Too much is
you
going on.
and neerrm did it.
Mm.
all right, did you have any final thoughts tonight, chocosura, or this afternoon, whatever time zone you're in?
No, not really. I'm just glad I finished.
All right. Well, good luck, and we'll see where it ends up for you if you make it into the playoff races. Good luck in that. Otherwise, I want to thank you for joining us today, and thank you for putting on a good race.
No problem.
GG's, thank you again for running, and congrats on third place on this. Hopefully we'll see you in the play-in.
All right, thank you.
All right, so now we're looking back at Demerine, who is still on Z, but looks to be in an okay position except for Fu. Oh, that's a
That was
very
a
high
damage roll.
I shouldn't have spoken.
Yeah, I might have cursed her earlier, but that one was.
That one's on me.
But it's recoverable. Oh, maybe, now that one was on me.
She is the only one who I believe is using Palom as an agility anchor. That might be what's causing all these issues. I think she just used a life on Cecil. I think she might be forfeiting.
Yeah, that might be with that pause on the screen. That's my thought.
I feel bad now because we both cursed her, and then now she did. All right, we'll go ahead and get Demerine into here for an interview if she wants.
Yeah, if she wants. And then we can apologize to her profusely for cursing her. But in the meantime, I want to just give thanks to everybody here, all four of our runners, neerrm, chocosura, Demerine2, and MrUbiq, for putting on a great race. It was a very intense finish. I'd also like to give shout outs to Supremacy for restreaming tonight, Zyrak for doing a great job on the tracking, everybody at the RPG Limit Break world for letting our little fun game take time on their airwaves, and it's just been, this whole league has been a blast. Also want to thank my partner for tonight, ovokjam. It's been a great race. It's been a lot of fun calling it with you.
That was a wonderful race, and thank you so much for calling it too, Rex. We are joined now by Demerine. Demerine, GG's, even though it probably didn't go as well as you had hoped.
I've had to go for it with the underleveled, underprepared party. I felt like I didn't have a choice. I needed to finish first, so I took a really big risk at the end there. And it, obviously, as you can see by the eternal pause in the eternal battle, we're going to call it a day, I think. Call it a week.
It was a gamble. If the gamble would have paid off, it would have paid off big time, because you were in the Zemus fight at the same time as Ubik and neerrm. You had a chance of getting there if it wasn't for that untimely wipe on the first time you were in there.
Yeah, I think I needed to sort of shift gears, gear up Fusoya for nuking, and just pray basically. Just kind of go all out, and it didn't really happen.
It didn't, and you were, like I was just saying, you were in the fight second, I believe, and it was coming down to who was going to be able to get through the Zemus fight first, and unfortunately you had a very bad nuke on Fu on that first one, and didn't really go your way the other times either. It's unfortunate, and we apologize for our part in doing any sort of commentator curse.
It's fine. I went in there really like, I opened the fewest boxes probably. I did very little during the run, so I was definitely way under geared, which usually means get way over leveled, which meant I probably should have gone D machines, but I ended up staying and just trying to burn up enough sirens to get to Roads of Life 2 at about 2,000 health, and really hoped that like the Fusoya gear on her would keep her alive the entire time, and then when she took that one big bang for like 2,200, like the wind just went right out of my sails.
Yeah, those damage rolls that you were getting for big bangs were like, even if like the characters were naked, it seemed like they were high rolls. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
those were intense rolls.
Yeah, no, it's just like my luck I carry over from Final Fantasy Randomizer 2.
I was going to ask about that. Is that a you with the random number generator?
Yeah, I've never seen the numbers 380 to 400 so much in my life as I have when I'm like fighting teams in FF1, and here I've never seen like the number 2200 so much in my life.
And those are not the numbers you want to see. 3 to 400 in FF1 is intense too.
Yep. But this was a blast. I think the league was fantastic. I mean, I lost 3 races, but I can still say I'm one of the top 32 runners of this game, which means a lot. You know, I think I had 3 good races overall, and I can't complain too loudly. It was good stuff all the way around. You know, great competitors, great grinders. Everybody's working so hard. So there's no shame in my finish, certainly, because I've had to deal with a lot of people who did a lot of work to get to where they are. So, you know, good luck to everybody going forward.
And I will say, you might have taken 4th place, but you did a very good race here because, like as we mentioned, you were right in the thick of it. If the gamble would have paid off for you, you definitely were in a position where you could have taken a very high place in this race. So even if it's a 4th place in the end, we thought that you definitely had a shot.
So I can ask for some days.
Yeah. Did you have any final thoughts on this race or the league in general? I know you outlined some of that, it seemed like, but I want to give you another option here.
Nah, it'll be good to be back behind the microphone tomorrow, and there's a whole lot more great races coming up, so I highly recommend everybody keep coming out, keep on supporting us. Again, shout-outs to Silverfire, Night Dew, Alexa, and Inventorable, the April crew, as always, thank you, and thank you to all the fans, and have a great night.
Well, thank you so much, Demerine, and thanks again for running. Thanks for being in our league. You did have a very good race here, even if it didn't end well.
Thanks.